What's up, guys? This is Dylan with SMB, and today we're going to be showing you how to install this 68-gallon replacement tank on this GMC 2016 crew cab long bed. So this replacement tank is going to fit all of our 2011 to 19 trucks, and so yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. And if you want, the best way to look at our install instructions is by scanning this QR code here. If we ever have any changes to our installs or anything, you can go ahead and scan this QR code, and it's going to be the best way to stay up to date. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So you can do this install on your driveway at home, but since we have a nice lift here, we're going to go ahead and do it on this, but driveway is fine if you need to do it there. All right, so now that we have our truck on the lift, the first step to this install is going to be removing the hose clamp from the vent and the hose clamp from the filler. All right, so before I loosen the hose clamp for the filler, we're going to show you exactly where it is, because sometimes it can be tricky to see up there. So. All right, now that we have the vent and the filler off, we're gonna remove these bolts from the plastic skid plate right here. So you got one bolt right here, one here, and then one up here. It's kind of hard to see, but one right there. And so we're just gonna move these, and then we go to the next step. All right, so now that we have the skid plate off, you can go ahead and toss it to the side. We're not gonna use it later. And so now we're gonna remove these two fuel lines right here. One to send and one to return. And to do this, you got to pull both blue tabs right here forward and then press down to get that blue tab out. All right, so these two fuel line up here, they may be different on your 17 and 19 trucks. So just beware of that. And so now we're going to use our jack and take down the fuel tank. And so we're going to start pressing it down here, and then we're going to remove both the front and the rear straps with our 15mm socket here. All right, so now we're going to lower our fuel tank about 5-6 inches because we want to make it easy on ourselves to get to the electrical. But at the same time, you need to be mindful and very cautious to make sure you don't snap that electrical harness. So we're just going to lower it just a little bit. So if your electrical unit here has a red tab, you want to make sure you slide it off, then decompress the tab right here, but ours doesn't, so we're just going to go ahead and decompress it and take it off. All right, so now right here we're going to go ahead and slide this out, and then slide out the back section, then depress the tab. All right, so now that we got everything disconnected, we're free to drop the tank. All right, so now that we have our fuel tank down, we're gonna go ahead and take out the sending unit, and you can do this with either a dead blow and a hammer, or with this tool we got just from O'Reilly's, and we'll have a link in the instructions to where you can get this as well. Goodness. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to remove the factory OEM sending unit. And first step is going to be unclipping these lines and taking off this tape that this fuel tank had on it. And then we're going to transfer it over to ours. So. All right, and when we're removing the OEM sending unit, you want to make sure you kind of remove it at an angle so you don't get the float caught at all. Once it's out, you want to dump the rest of the fuel that's in here back into your stock tank. All right, so now we're going to make sure before you transfer over the sending unit, you put in this rubber gasket right here, and then you're just going to go ahead and place it on there, and then put your OEM sending unit in at an angle so that obviously it doesn't break that float again. So once the sending unit's in, make sure everything is lined up, ready to go. Make sure you start snapping that in there. And then we're going to take these lines and we're going to snap these into our S&B fuel tank. And then we're going to go take our tool right here and we're going to start working it in. All right, and so one thing to keep an eye on is make sure it goes underneath the indention right here. It's going to be the best way to keep it tight, keep it on. All right, so next step before we put on our S&B fuel tank, we have to install this U-bolt. It's just going to give the extra support that our fuel tank needs. But the first thing we have to do is unclip this little clip right here. It's the clip that is furthest down to where the wires, or to where the fuel lines start to get wider. So we have to unclip this in order to give ourselves more room here to install the U-bolt. All right, so next we're going to install the U-bolt. And so one thing we're going to make sure is it's in front of this clip right here. And you got to lift this up right here. It's kind of tricky to do, so make sure you get it right. So now that that's in place, make sure again it's in front of this little clip right here. We can go ahead and clip it back in. All right, so now before we put the fuel tank in, we're going to install the check valve into the filler hose. And make sure the flow arrow is pointing towards yourself. All right, so now the tank's coming up. The first step is to connect the electrical. Make sure it snaps in like that. All right, so the next thing to do when your tank's coming up is to make sure you have these rollover valve hoses across the cross member right here. This one's the first one right here, and the second one's going to be over here. And make sure. All right, so once this hose has enough room to be able to connect to the barb, you're going to want to go ahead and push it on and connect it. And then make sure that your clamp right here is in the right position to go ahead and clamp it down. All right, so now that it's all the way on, you're going to want to tighten the hose clamp. All right, so now we're going to take this front support and hook it on and connect it to the U-bolt right here. Like so, and then make sure it's connected right there. All right, so now we're going to come up here and reconnect the fuel lines, make sure they're snapped on correctly. All right, so now we're gonna attach our half strap. This part's awesome because it makes it so much easier to attach that front strap. So we're gonna use the OEM bolt right here, and make sure this longer side, this kind of squared off side, is the one that attaches to the frame. And then next is just slip on the included slip nut here. All right, so the next step is we're going to take this bracket right here and lock it into place. Make sure you hear that locking sound whenever you do. Just like that. All right, so next, once your strap is locked in, you're going to take the bolt that comes with it. That's already included, and take the Loctite and just put some dabs on it right here. Just make like a continuous line all the way across. You can dab it up and down. Make sure it's nice and leathered up there. All right, so just put the bolt in and then tighten it up with a 15 mil here. All right, so once we have the middle strap in, we're gonna go ahead and go with the rear strap. Same thing applies here. Just make sure it snaps in to place. You'll hear it snap in like the last time, like that. And now we're gonna come over here, same thing. We're gonna take the take your bolt here and just ratchet it in up top. You'll be good. Now you're just gonna reach up under and connect the hose to the filler pump right here. All right, so you can use a 5/16 nut driver to tighten it down and ratchet down up here. All right, so next you gotta connect the bridge vent right here. Once that's on, we can move on. All right, so next we're going to zip tie the two rollover hoses to the main filler valve. This one right here. This one on the back over here. And we're zip tie it right here. All right, guys, so that's it. Install is complete. And you know, super easy install, not too hard. But if you have any questions, we're always around. So feel free to reach out to us and we'll be able to help you with anything you need. But thanks for watching and thanks for your business. Thank you.